Let me ask you something honest. Have you been walking every day, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes 45, watching what you eat, maybe even doing a few sit-ups, and that belly is still there? Same belt notch as last year, maybe one notch worse. And every time you try to push harder, your knees complain, your lower back tightens, you feel wiped out by dinner, and 2 weeks later, you are right back where you started. I hear this from patients over 60 and over 65 constantly. Good people, disciplined people, people who did exactly what they were told. Walk more, cardio is king. And I want to tell you something that might surprise you. The exercise most people over 60 are relying on for belly fat is not enough on its own. Walking is valuable. I am not here to take your walks away. I want you walking for circulation, for mood, for your joints, for the simple dignity of moving through your day. But walking alone is not the number one stimulus for losing belly fat after 60. If it were, you would already see the change you have been working for. The number one move I want you to learn is not a treadmill program, not a crunch, not a gym machine. It is a chair-based movement most people have been told is too basic. And that is exactly why almost nobody does it with enough intent to change their hormones. It works because of muscle, insulin, and growth hormone, not because of calorie math on a wristband. I'm Dr. Arthur Sterling. If you are over 60 and you are tired of confusing fitness advice, subscribe right now and hit like. Stay with me because I am going to show you the exact chair move, how to do it safely, how many times per week, what to pair it with, and the weekly protocol my patients actually follow at home. No gym, no jumping, no getting down on the floor if that does not feel safe yet. Before I name the move, I need you to understand something most walking-only plans ignore. Without this, the chair will feel like a random tip. With this, every repetition will make sense. After 60, and especially after 65, belly fat is often not a willpower problem. It is a hormone and muscle problem. Treating a hormone and muscle problem with only steady walking is like trying to tighten a loose screw with a sponge. You can rub forever, the screw does not turn. Here is what is happening. First, insulin sensitivity tends to decline with age. Your body may need more insulin to handle the same meal. Higher insulin, especially when it stays elevated through the day, favors storage of fat deep in the abdomen, visceral fat, the firm fat wrapped around organs, not only the soft, pinchable layer under the skin. Visceral fat is metabolically active. It is not just a belly, it sends signals. And it is stubborn when insulin stays high and muscle stays underused. Second, muscle mass quietly declines if you do not give it a reason to stay. After 60, this has a name, sarcopenia, but you do not need the label to feel it. Harder to get up from a sofa, harder to climb stairs without the rail, heavier legs in the morning. Every pound of muscle you lose is not only strength disappearing, it is metabolic machinery disappearing. Muscle helps clear glucose from the blood. Muscle helps keep resting metabolism from sliding. When walking is your only exercise, you get endurance benefits, but you often do not get a strong enough signal to preserve the muscle that actually changes how your midsection responds. Third, cortisol and stress chemistry matter. Long, grinding sessions of the same moderate effort, especially if you are under-eating protein or sleeping poorly, can keep stress chemistry in a range that does not help abdominal fat. Again, I am not demonizing walking. I am saying that more of the same stimulus is not automatically better after 65. So if you have been walking faithfully and the waist has not moved, You are not broken. You were given an incomplete prescription. Prolonged steady walking does burn some energy while you do it. It helps blood flow. It helps blood sugar in the hours around the walk. It is one of the safest activities we have. But in adults over 60, walking alone often fails as a belly fat strategy for 3 practical reasons. 1. It rarely recruits enough large muscle mass with enough tension to create a meaningful growth hormone pulse and a meaningful insulin sensitivity upgrade in the legs, glutes, and core. 2. Your body adapts to the same route and the same pace. What felt hard in month 1 becomes background noise in month 6. 3. If walking replaces every other form of work and protein stays too low, you can lose muscle slowly while the waist stays the same. That is the opposite of successful aging. This is not an argument against movement. Movement is essential, and I want you moving every day. This is an argument against using the wrong primary tool for the job you care about, reducing belly fat and keeping independence after 60. The right tool asks large muscles to produce force. It can be done holding a chair. It takes minutes, not an hour. And when you repeat it with consistency, it changes the hormonal and muscular environment that walking then supports, instead of trying to carry the whole load alone. So what is the number 1 chair move? It is the sit to stand. Some people call it a chair squat. I want you to think of it as the single highest value movement pattern you can train at home after 60 for belly fat, leg strength, balance confidence, and real life function. Because every time you stand up from a toilet, a dining chair, a car seat, or a pew, you are performing a version of this pattern. Training it on purpose is how you stop negotiating with furniture. Let me explain exactly why this one move earns the number 1 spot. When you perform a controlled sit-to-stand, you load the quadriceps, the glutes, the hips, and the core bracing muscles together. That is a compound pattern. Large muscle groups acting together behave like glucose sponges. They help pull sugar out of the bloodstream in ways that reduce the insulin burden after meals over time. Less chronic insulin signal means visceral fat gets fewer storage orders. Second, working these muscles through a full stand produces a stronger anabolic and hormonal signal than easy, flat walking at a chatty pace. You do not need heavy barbells for that signal. You need sincere effort relative to your current capacity, clean form, and enough repetitions to matter. Third, the sit-to-stand directly fights the weakness pattern that keeps people trapped in less movement. When legs are stronger, you walk more naturally. Harder chairs are better. Place your feet flat on the floor, roughly under your knees or slightly behind the knees, about hip-width apart. Heels should feel connected to the ground. If your feet are too far forward, you will struggle to stand and may pull with your low back. If they are too far under the chair, your knees may feel cramped. Hinge slightly at the hips so your nose moves forward over your toes as you prepare to stand. This is not a dramatic dive. It is the natural weight shift of standing up like an adult who trusts their legs. Press through the midfoot and heel, squeeze the seat muscles gently, and stand all the way up until your hips are open and you are tall. At the top, pause for 1 full second. Do not rush. Rushing hides weakness. Then begin the most important part for results, the lowering phase. Push your hips back as if you are reaching the chair with your seat, not crashing down with your knees. Try to keep knees tracking roughly in line with your second toe. Mistake 3. Pulling yourself up with momentum and a wild swing of the arms every single rep, then calling it strength. Using arms on the armrests is allowed as a regression. Depending on momentum forever is how you avoid the muscle stimulus you came for. Over weeks, your goal is less hand assistance. Mistake 4. Only doing 3 careless repetitions once a week and expecting a waist change. This is a signal and recovery adaptation. You need a weekly dose. Mistake 5. Comparing yourself to a 25-year-old fitness video. Your win is a controlled stand from a chair without fear. That win predicts independence. Respect it. Here are the levels so you can find yourself without shame. Level A. Supported sit to stand. Hands on armrests. Use your arms as much as you need. Perform slow lowers. Your goal is 8 to 12 controlled stands. Rest as needed, 2 to 3 sets. Level B. Fingertip or light touch assist. Same pattern, but hands only hover or lightly touch for balance. When you can complete 10 smooth stands, reduce assistance further. Level C. Arms crossed over the chest. This is the classic strength standard many clinics love because it reduces cheating. Stand tall, lower slow, touch, stand again. Level D. Tempo strength. Lower for 4 seconds, stand in 1 to 2 seconds, pause at the top. Tempo creates stimulus without adding load. If you have uncontrolled dizziness, a recent surgery, a physician restriction on bending or loading, active chest pain, or a fall history that makes you fearful standing without help, use supervision, use a higher chair, and get personal medical guidance before you chase levels. This video is education, not a personal prescription for every body in every condition. Your doctor knows your chart. I do not. Now, how many, how often for belly fat specifically? 3 days per week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is an easy rhythm, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. The calendar matters less than consistency. Each session, 2 to 4 sets. Each set, as many quality repetitions as you can do with good form, stopping at 2 repetitions before form truly breaks. For many beginners, that is 6 to 10. For others, 12 to 15. Numbers are servants. Form is master. Rest 60 to 90 seconds between sets, longer if you need it. At the end of the session, add a brief chair-safe finisher. After your last set, stand up and sit down 5 times a little quicker than your strength sets, still controlled. Then rest 1 minute and repeat that quick block 2 or 3 times. That is not sprinting. That is brief effort relative to you. Total chair strength time is often 12 to 20 minutes. That is enough when the signal is real. Keep your walks on most days if you enjoy them, but reclassify them. Walking becomes circulation, recovery, sunlight, mental health, and blood sugar support. The sit to stand becomes the primary belly fat and muscle signal. When patients make that mental switch, they stop expecting the walk to do a job it was never best at, and they stop feeling like failures when a 40-minute stroll does not shrink the waist by itself. I want to add the second layer people skip and then wonder why the mirror does not change. Protein. When you train the sit to stand, you are asking muscle tissue to adapt. Without adequate protein, especially after 65, when muscles become more resistant to building, the adaptation is weaker. Aim for a protein-forward meal around your training day. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, fish, poultry, lean meat, or a quality protein option your clinician is comfortable with. Many older adults do better when each meal includes a deliberate protein source, rather than toast and jam breakfasts that leave muscles underfed. I am not giving you a rigid meal plan. I am giving you a principle. Resistance signal plus protein availability beats resistance signal into a low-protein day. Pair them. Let me tell you about a patient I will call Helen, 71, retired librarian. She walks every morning around her neighborhood loop for almost 2 years. Same path, same pace. She was proud of never missing a day, and she should have been. But her waist had not improved. Her knees ached at the bottom of hills. She told me she felt fit, but still thick in the middle. We did not take her walking away. We added sit-to-stands 3 days a week at the kitchen chair. First 2 weeks, hands on the table edge. We paired breakfast with Greek yogurt and eggs on training days. We asked her to stop doing 50 rushed partial stands while the kettle boiled with no control. Random motion is not a program. At 4 weeks, she was doing arms crossed sets of 8. At 8 weeks, her waist was down 1.5 inches. At 12 weeks, just over 3 inches. The scale moved only modestly. She said the bigger win was getting out of her son's low sports car without a production. That is visceral fat chemistry and muscle talking together. That is also dignity. Helen's walking did not fail her. Helen's plan was incomplete. Completeness was a chair. How old are you? Write it in the comments right now. I want to know who is watching, because the starting dose at 62 with healthy knees is different from the starting dose at 78 after a hip replacement years ago. Tell me your age and tell me whether you can stand up from a dining chair right now without using your hands. Just yes or no. If your answer is no, you are not behind. You are at level A, and level A is honest work. Start there tomorrow. Here is your week. Monday, sit to stand primary session, 2 to 4 sets. Optional easy walk afterward if you feel good. Tuesday, easy walk or light mobility, ankle circles, gentle hip shifts while holding the counter, no heroics. Wednesday, sit to stand again. Try one small progression if Monday felt easy. Slower lower, 1 extra rep, or slightly less hand help. Thursday, walk. Include 1 or 2 short, slightly brisk segments if tolerated. Think purposeful, not punishing. Friday, sit to stand. Finish with the brief, quicker stands if joints are happy. Saturday, longer, pleasant walk or time on your feet. Gardening counts, shopping counts, life counts. Sunday, rest or a very easy stroll. Mild muscle awareness is acceptable. Sharp joint pain is information to reduce depth, reduce volume, or get checked. Repeat for 12 weeks before you judge the protocol. Belly fat after 60 did not appear in 12 days. It will not fully rewire in 12 days either, but many people feel stronger standing within 2 weeks, and waist changes often lag strength. Do not quit in the lag. There is grief in realizing walking was not enough. There is irritation at every article that said, just walk. Feel that for a minute if you need to. Then use it. Redirect the discipline you already proved on the sidewalk into 10 focused minutes at the chair. You are not starting from 0. You are adding the missing gear. What if chair stands bother your knees? Raise the seat, shorten the range, use more arm assist. Reduce to every other training day for a week. If pain persists, get a local assessment. Physical therapy shines here because form tweaks change everything, and I cannot see your knee tracking through this screen. What if your balance feels sketchy? Keep the chair against the wall. Keep a second counter within reach. Do not train when dizzy, heavily sedated, or rushed. Balance improves as legs strengthen, but we do not gamble with falls for a video challenge. What if you can already do 20 easy stands? Then you are ready for tempo, pauses, or a light held weight at the chest. Easy repetitions build endurance. They stop building strength when they are no longer challenging. Strength is what changes muscle and insulin dynamics more powerfully. Are there other excellent chair moves? Yes, seated marches for warm-up, chair-supported hip hinges, wall push-ups, seated rows with a band. Those are supporting actors. The sit-to-stand is still the lead after 60 for the combination of belly fat relevance, full risk relevance, and life relevance. If you only remember one thing from this entire video, remember this. 3 days a week, controlled sit-to-stands, progressive, protein-aware, keep walking as support. Let me put the science in one clean picture. Large leg and hip muscles working through sit-to-stand improve glucose handling and help lower the insulin storage weather that feeds visceral fat. The effort produces a stronger muscle-preserving signal than easy walking alone. Preserved muscle keeps metabolism and function from sliding. Walking then becomes more effective inside a better body, not a lonely strategy inside a weakening one. If you like a script you can follow verbatim, here it is. Sit tall, feet set, take one breath, stand 1. Sit slow, stand 2. Sit slow. Continue until you are 2 reps from form failure. Rest and sip water, repeat the set. After your final strength set, do 5 smoother stands at a slightly brisker cadence. Rest. Repeat that brisk block twice if you feel solid. Stop. If you want, walk around the block as a cool down, not as punishment. That is a complete session. No membership, a chair. Track the right scoreboard. Measure waist at the navel once every 2 weeks under similar conditions, morning, after restroom, before eating. Track how many unassisted stands you can do with clean form. Track whether you needed the rail on the back stairs. These metrics move before the mirror always notices. If you only watch daily scale weight, you will miss fat loss that happens alongside muscle gain, and you will quit a working plan. Proper dosing leaves you feeling used in the muscles and clearer in the head, not destroyed. If you are wiped out for the entire next day, cut volume in half and rebuild. Days 1 through 7. Learn form. Film 1 set sideways if possible. Prioritize slow lowers. Use hands freely. 2 to 3 sets, 3 days this week. Days 8 through 14. Reduce hand help on at least half your repetitions. Add the brief, brisk finisher once if knees allow. Days 15 through 30. Attempt arms crossed on your best set if safe. Own 3 quality sessions each week. Remeasure waist at day 30. Write your age and your unassisted rep count in the comments if you want accountability. Beyond day 30, continue the same skeleton for at least 8 more weeks. Progression can be slower lowers, cleaner posture, less sway, slightly higher reps, or very light load. 1 progression variable at a time. Endless crunches after 60 often irritate the neck and do almost nothing to visceral fat. Your deep belly fat responds more to muscle mass, insulin dynamics, sleep and nutrition patterns than to floor sit-ups. Gentle core bracing while you stand can support the sit-to-stand. It is not a substitute for it. Sleep matters. If you train well and sleep 5 fragmented hours, You donate results back overnight. Dim screens, cooler room, consistent wake time. Sleep is not separate from belly fat, it is part of the hormonal climate. If you have been told you are too old for strength work, I want you to hear me clearly. Older adults respond to resistance training. Tendons and muscles can adapt later in life. The dose must match the person. The principle remains. Your best years of moving through a grocery store without fear are not automatically behind you. They are often waiting for a better signal. I have spent years watching people over 65 work extremely hard at the wrong primary task and then blame themselves. I would rather you work moderately hard at the right task and give your body a chance to answer. Here is your assignment starting this week. 1. Find a sturdy chair today, not tomorrow, today. Put it where you will see it in the morning. 2. Perform your first practice set of 5 to 10 slow sit-to-stands with whatever hand support you need. Stop if something sharp complains. 3. Schedule 3 days this week. Treat them like appointments with your future self. 4. Add a protein source to the meal around those days. 5. Keep walking if you love it, but stop asking walking to be your only belly fat medicine. 6. In 2 weeks, reassess hand support and form. In 4 weeks, check waist and confidence standing from low seats. 7. Write your age in the comments and whether you used your hands today. That is your starting line. If this feels almost too simple, good. Simple is what gets done in real kitchens with real knees and real schedules. Your chair does not need a sales strategy. It needs your attention 3 times a week. You have not failed because the belly remained while you walked. You were obedient to incomplete advice. Obedience to incomplete advice produces incomplete results. That is not a character flaw. That is an information problem. We just corrected a big piece of the information. The belly fat you have been carrying is not proof your body has given up. It is often proof your body has been given a walking-only instruction when it also needed a strength instruction. Give it the strength instruction through the sit-to-stand. Be consistent, be patient, be honest with form, and let walking become the friend it always was, instead of a lone soldier it never should have been. I'm Dr. Arthur Sterling. I have spent years helping adults over 60 cut through confusing medical and fitness noise and take back control with clear next steps. If this helped you, hit like so it reaches someone still blaming themselves on the same neighborhood loop every morning. Subscribe if you want more honest protocols built for real aging bodies. Send this to someone over 60 who walks faithfully and still cannot stand up from a chair without using their hands. That person needs this more than another pair of walking shoes. You do not need a perfect gym. You need a chair, a plan, and enough self-respect to train the muscles that keep you free. Stand up tall when you can. Sit down slow. Repeat. I will see you in the next one.